This man's name is Hector. In his free time he likes to see everything through his telescope. Today he sees something exciting. Then his wife comes over. Asks, what are you looking at? Hector is flustered, I'm sightseeing. Next he takes out his car keys. Asks Clara to quickly go down the hill to buy food. He wants to be alone. What alone? The small flame of desire can burn the whole forest. Just see if you don't believe. Hector hears that Clara left, puts up the telescopes again. What? It's only a while, why can't he see the girl anywhere? Hector is rattled. This affects him. You say, in the daylight, just like this in the forest. What are they trying to do? No, have to come over to see. Hector goes far inside the forest, nervous but excited. The view in front of him is not disappointing at all. The beautiful lady is lying next to the rock in a seductive position. Hector worries that the lady will get sick, quickly comes forward. At that moment he has so many thoughts. But Hector is attacked from behind. He is so scared that he runs away hurriedly. He is seduced into her trap. He hides behind a tree, holding his telescope, and looks to see what is going on. He only sees the criminal holding a scissor. His head is still heavily bandaged. Hector is scared witless. He runs away, not turning head back, then he is lost. He climbs over the wire fence, to the front of a house. He calls a few times but no one answers. Then he breaks the door by a rock. His life is important. He finds a medicine cabinet, takes out the bandage to wrap the wound. Then he notices, in this room, a lot of science devices are shown. On the table there is a walkie-talkie. Hector takes the walkie-talkie and asks for help. The other person asks, who are you, why do you break in someone else's house? Hector hurriedly explains, I am chased by someone, have to quickly report to the police. He asks him, is that the bandage monster? Hector says that's right. The man says then you have to run away quickly. I'm in the monitor room, I see the bandage monster over there. He is coming to you, I'm at the laboratory on top of the mountain. Quickly come here. Hector starts to run crazily. Not long after, he arrives at the laboratory. He hides inside, seeing the man in the walkie-talkie. The man says he is a scientist, doing his experiment here. Looks at the big water tank in front of you. Later we will hide there. The bandaged monster completely doesn't expect us to be inside. Hector looks at the glowing water tank, loses a bit of confidence inside. But the bandaged monster is right after them. There is no time to hesitate. He asks the scientist to go inside with him. But looks like the other person pretends to not hear anything. What is this? Young people don't keep their words. A strong beam of light flashes by, Hector is released. When he goes in it is night time, just a while after it is daytime. Seems like the scientist also loses his memory. He asks Hector again. Who are you, why are you in my experiment device? Hector is angry, don't you dare to ask who I am. A while ago who said we go in together? Now you play this amnesia game with me. Hector doesn't pay attention to him. He puts up the telescope, wants to see the action of the bandaged monster. While looking at his house at the same time. His wife is still there. Wait, why is there a man in his house? Hector looks again, isn't that me? Hector kneels down. If that person is Hector, then who I am. The scientist also kneels down. The experiment is successful. He tells Hector, the big water tank is actually a time machine. Can copy and brings people to few hours ago. Now he is Hector 2, the person in the house is Hector 1. Hector upon hearing is panicked. You have to bring me back, if not what do I do? The scientist says it's not that there is no way. As long as they trick Hector 1 to go into the time machine, he will disappear. Then in the world, you will be the only one. This can't be delayed. Hector 2 drives home. On the way he sees the beautiful lady on her bike. Wait, isn't this the lady in the forest? Wait, if the lady is gone, who will seduce Hector 1? Going in the forest. He still doesn't snap back. A red container crashes into him down the hill. His head bleeds, so Hector takes the bandage on his hand. Wraps around his head. This time a full circle is created, turns out the bandage monster is himself. This time the lady comes and asks how he is doing. Hector 2 quietly thinks. Indeed the god is helping him. He takes out a scissor. Forces the girl to the forest.
Coge la parte de abajo de tu camiseta. Quítatela. Ahora. Espacio.
Hector forces her to take off her clothes. As expected. Hector 1 takes the bait. Bandaged Hector asks her to take off her pants. She asks if she needs to take off her panties. Hector says no, the girl is unhappy. What do you mean, don't you find me attractive? Hector unwillingly knocks her off. Lifts her up to the rock. Reconstructs the scene that he saw before. Then waits aside. Not long after, Hector 1 comes. He is frozen looking at her. Then everything plays out according to the plan. Hector 1 is scared by the monster face, hides in the laboratory. But suddenly, the scream of the lady is heard from behind. Hector thinks that's not right. He has to explain to the lady that he is not a bad guy. She can't report to the police. If the police comes it will be trouble. Hector chases after the lady, to the roof of his house. Realizes that the lady is about to run. Hector wants to stop her. But unexpectedly he uses too much energy. Hector lowers his head and looks down. He's done, short hair, red coat. He is accidentally kills his wife. Though he's a greedy and lustful person. But he still loves Clara. Hector decides to save Clara. He forces the scientist to trick the Hector 1 to go in the laboratory. Then drives to the top of the mountain. Presses himself against the door to scare the other Hector. To the time machine. Hector is successful. Everything's back to where it should be. But the thing isn't finished yet. Hector tells the scientist he has to go back in time again. Because he has to save his wife. But the scientist firmly disagrees. Hector holds a metal bat. Now his word doesn't have any strength. He has to kill other Hector. Makes sure there is no mistakes. The scientist says stop it. You think in this space, there are only 2 Hector. Actually before you came out. Hector 3 already hid from behind for a long time. Before then he even told me through the walkie-talkie that he was failed saving his wife. So no matter what, the scientist has to stop Hector from going in the time machine one more time. But Hector still doesn't listen. To prove that the past can change, he throws out the walkie-talkie that he is holding. Cut off the connection between Hector 3 and the scientist. At that time it is raining hard outside. The police siren is heard from afar. Hector once again goes into the time machine. Back to the past before the police come. Up until now surely a lot of people are puzzled. I will tell you, this twisted details. Now, the person climbing out is Hector 3 going back in time again. His plan is like this, finds a chance to finish Hector 2. Stops Clara's death. What about Hector 2? This time he still didn't turn into the bandage monster. Still thinks about how to lure Hector 1 to the time machine. Finally Hector 1 is now dumbfounded. Peeping at the lady. Completely unknowing of what will happen after. Okay, now the trap is set. Hector 3 hides aside. Waits for Hector 2 coming out from the time machine. He drives the red container of the laboratory. Chasing after Hector 2, directly pushes him down the hill. When he stops the car, but unexpectedly, this time he doesn't hit Hector 2 to dead. But he himself gets injured because of this. When he struggles to climb out of the car, he finds the walkie-talkie that he threw out before going back in time, is next to him. Hector is hopeless. Indeed nobody can escape. The wheel of fate, turns out everything is fate. He contacts the scientist by the walkie-talkie. Says that I'm tired now. Let everything be destroyed. Quickly, Hector 3 suddenly sees the lady. Quietly thinks that she is having her clothes on. He asks the lady, are you hiding from the bandage monster? The lady says, yes. Hector continues, don't panic, I'm also hiding from him. Let's come and sit with me. Rest for a bit before talking. Then, he tilts his head, falls asleep. When Hector wakes up, it's nearly daytime. The lady brings Hector to his home. Says that she has to go out to see the situation. But the girl just left. When Clara appears, she is very scared. Says that she sees the bandage monster outside. Also hears a stranger's voice in the room. She quickly reports to the police and hides. Hector sees the clothes that Clara is wearing. Understands right away. Turns out the person falling down from the roof is not Clara. But to trick Hector 2, there has to be a person to die instead of Clara. But there is only one option for now. Hector quietly takes Clara downstairs. Hides in the storage room. Next he climbs to the 2nd floor. The bandaged monster is outside, is a crazy man. If they want to escape from his chase, have to change the appearance. He puts the red coat of Clara on the lady. Then cuts her hair like Clara. Finally he calmly goes downstairs. Brings Clara out. Together they calmly lie in the garden. Because he knows, a while later, he will be the only Hector in this space. The number 1 and number 2 will go to another space. The wheel of fate starts the next spin. The spin of Hector 3 is ended now.
Relájate, por favor.
The thunder sound is heard. Hector throws away the scissor in his pocket. Later when the police come. But the pouring rain will wash away every traces of crime. The movie ends here. This is a horror movie about time loops. On air on 2007 in Spain. 2 years earlier than the film with the same theme, Triangle. Some people even say Triangle plagiarizes this film. I personally think, even though the production cost of the film is low, but its logic, its consistency, are even better than Triangle. This story does not use the concept of multiverse. It uses only one space to tell the whole story in a very clear way. The using of details is also very magical. For example, when Hector 2 threatens the lady, the director specifically closely describes her taking her shoes off. Then we can see these shoes and the shoes of the lady that he kills later are the same pair. So the dead person is not Hector's wife, but the dim light adds up to the fear in our mind. At first Hector doesn't realize. Then it leads to the second turn of going back in time. Continues like that, has a taste of the fate theory. This movie is quite twisted. Maybe you can't understand straight away, but you only need to watch my video. Then watch the film one more time to completely feel the most interesting point of this movie.